very trashy in here. Okay. Am I saying you're not when I say Shardayreon?
It's pronounced, it's close enough, Shardayreon.
Okay.
It's pronounced Shardayreon, though.
What do you go by?
Darion, it don't matter.
Okay. Well, like I say, I know that we really didn't talk about anything. You called up to the sex crimes and just said that you wanted to come forward in reference to that officer. I knew what you were talking about that. And I know we didn't talk on the phone or anything about it. So we're just going to start from the very, very beginning. Okay.
How was you looking for me?
Yeah, when I told you, I was looking for you because I have a list kind of going off of, you know, and it was kind of odd because Jim usually said, hey, we got to call the sex crimes main line, and that's when I returned the phone call, and we just have a list of people. A lot of them, nothing happened. Some of them maybe. So it was just kind of one of those.
Yeah.
And I just recognized your name. It's kind of a unique name. And okay, let's just get some of your information here. It's Shardayreon. Okay. Okay. And it's Hill. Is that still your last name? Okay. All right. And your date of birth is
91.
91. What's your social?
4.
Okay. What's your address?
Northeast 81st Street.
Okay. Northeast 81st. What's the zip code?
73114.
Okay. What's a phone number to reach you at?
My cell phone number is 405.
Okay.
And or you can call my mom's cell.
Okay. What's that?
405-24.
Okay. All right. You live with your mom or? Okay. Okay. Now these are just kind of common questions we kind of ask. Okay. You have any kind of mental problems?
No.
Okay. Ever been to a mental hospital?
No.
Okay. Are you on any drugs or alcohol right now?
No.
Okay. Have you ever been a victim of a crime prior to what we're going to talk about? Whatever you're going to tell me. Besides that, any other time?
I'm on the deferred for.
Well, have you ever been a victim of a crime?
Oh, victim.
Anything like?
Not sexual.
Okay. Okay. So this is what we're going to talk about. That's the first time. Sexual. Okay. Okay. And I assume you said it was sexual in nature, but like I say, I didn't really question you about it. So, why don't you kind of run down through whatever you're going to tell me, okay? And then I'm going to back you up because I'm going to get caught up to you, okay? All right.
Well, when he came to where I was when he arrested me, I was high off the drug. It was PCP, and they had to take me to the hospital, which it was on the northeast side, and I still didn't understand like why did they take me away to Southwest Medical, and they takes me to Southwest Medical and showered me down because like it was all over me and stuff, and they gave me a drink to like bring me down or whatever. So when they finally put us in a room, like, you know, I guess for me to come down, it was me and him in the room, and when I think about it, like after the fact, didn't know nurses ever come in the room to check on us or anything. And so I'm laying on the bed, I'm high because the PCP is in my pores, and like it was poured all over me and everything. So, and like even the ambulance people, that was like they surprised that I'm like, you know, still here because my heart rate was so high. Well, anyway, that was the drink. The drink was supposed to make me come down, but so I'm like out of it. So when they take all my clothes off, they gave me a gown, and so I'm in the bed, and it's like down, but I'm out of there, so I'm like not even worried about it, not thinking nothing of it. So he keeps bringing it to my attention, like, your titties is showing, and he kept saying it, but I'm still like not even catching on to what he's saying. So then finally he came on the side of the bed, and he got the robe, and he pulled it up like this and squeezed on my breast. And so I'm thinking like, okay, for real, is he going there? And so he got to talking to me and asking me, like, trying to be all nice and stuff, like, why are you in that environment and blah 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 blah. And I'm just telling them, like, I don't know, this just, whatever. So I'm like, I'm laying in the bed, and he's like, I'm like, am I going to jail? I'm like, I don't want to go to jail or whatever. And because I'm thinking I wasn't going to go to jail or whatever. So he like, is this your real name? Because I had told him I was my twin or whatever. And then,
who's your twin?
Shardayreon Hill. And he told me I wasn't going first, and then he told me I was, and then he was like, but if you cooperate, that I wouldn't go to jail. And I'm like, what do you mean? And so then he came and he did it again, and I'm like, oh my God. So he got my hand and put it on his thing, on his belt or whatever, trying to like make me touch it or whatever. And so I'm just like, don't know what to do. Like, I'm like thinking if I do it, he will probably let me go. So he kind of was like forcing me, trying to talk me into doing it. And so he took off his belt and stuff, and he kept telling me to lay back though, because I'm not knowing at the time why he telling me to lay back, but when I, after everything, he was telling me to lay back because my heart rate would go up, and then that's when the people would come in the room. But he knew the whole time to make sure that I lay back so that my heart rate won't go up and these people come in the room. So anyway, he taken off his belt or whatever, and he pulled it down, and then he thought about it, I guess, like, well, he made me put his mouth on him and everything. But he was like, he was like, yeah, I want to fuck the shit out of you or something like that, he said. But he was like, I'm on the job, I'm on the clock or whatever. So after I'm laying back, like, actually got my mouth on him and stuff, he pulled his pants back up and sit down. So he sit back down, and he was writing whatever. He's sitting at the desk like this, and I'm on the bed, and I'm high, and the dress thing, my legs was up, and I see him, I'm peeping at him or whatever, and he just looking like, trying to look up in my thing. And so I'm like, can you please call my mama? Can you please call my mama? So he called my mama, and when he called my mama, she like, she thinking that I got caught with a whole lot of drugs, and she like, Darren, why is you doing this? He sat on this side in a chair in the hospital, and he got it on speakerphone, and she like, cause by this time I'm thinking that he's my friend. So she like, Darren, you done got in this trouble, you ain't about to have no bond. So he tell her, he like, she's gonna have a bond, it's just gonna be low. And then I'm like, I'm gonna get out, Mama. She was like, how you gonna get out? I was like, because my friend, because he was telling me, like, if I cooperate, just give it about a month, and then the charges won't be on me anymore. And so I'm like, I never trusted a cop. And he like, just trust me or whatever. So basically, I feel like he was just getting in my head and making me fall for what he was telling me and stuff. And so she like, how you gonna get out of there? I was like, cause my friend, he gonna let me out. She was like, who is your friend? And I was like, his name is Mr. Officer, like that. So she laughing at me because she know I'm high or whatever on the drug.
This is your mom talking?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And so I stayed in jail. Well, okay. After that, after he hung up the phone, he hung it up and he came in front of my bed and he stuck his hands in my private. And then he went to the sink and he just washed his hands or whatever. And then after that, we sat in there for a minute, and I guess it was time to go. And then he took me out, walked me out. I wanted to run out, but I wasn't gonna be able to make it because I was so high or whatever. So he ended up taking me to the county, and so the whole time when we on our way to the county, he like, I'm like, so are you sure this is not gonna stick? You're gonna get it right way? You know, he's telling me that just give it about a month. Just give it about a month. Just trust him and stuff. And I'm like, okay. And so he took me in the county and was booking me in there or whatever. And so while I'm sitting at the thing, he looking at me, and when the lady asked me like, are you have you been sexually assaulted in the last 24 hours? He's standing there with like a photo or whatever, and he looking at me or whatever, and he looking back at the paper. And so when I say no, he close it up and he walk away from out the back or whatever and come back around. And he set me down and was acting like he was asking me some questions. And he was like, I made your bond super fucking cheap, and I hid your tickets for you or whatever. And so this is what made me think like, okay, maybe he is gonna help me or whatever. And so, cause I had like $4,000 worth of tickets or whatever, and he said he didn't charge me with them or something. And so he was like, so you can get out early. So I ended up staying there for 5 days, but I got out without handling the tickets, whatever. So he must have hid them or whatever he said he did with them, because I was able to find out. And he just walked out the thing after, you know, he left me there. And so after that, like 2 weeks later, he found me on Facebook, and then he requested to be my friend. I accepted or whatever, because I'm like, okay, he's serious about helping me get my charges dismissed or whatever.
Do you have that?
Yes. And I screenshotted the messages or whatever. And the number that he gave me on here is the number that he called. He called my mom's phone from.
He called who?
When I told you he called my mama in the hospital, it's the same number on here where he's telling me to call him on.
Okay. Okay, I'm gonna look at these, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Bonds. Why, it's just bouncing around. Oh, this is screenshot. Okay.
Yeah, screenshot. Because I got so many messages. I could go back to where it's all on one page in the Facebook messages, but it'll probably take a minute because it's doing.
So did you call him?
I did call him.
This says I'm lost. How did you get arrested again?
Because let me show you. We was conversating on here.
Do you still have everything off the Facebook?
Mm-hmm. This is all the messages. Let me go back to, so it won't be all confusing and stuff. I'm gonna try to just find his name back in my messages. Well, he did activate it, so I don't know if it'll pull up right away. Let's see though. And my thing is, like when I seen the thing on Facebook, a girl that was on my Facebook, she had his face, and I'm like, my stomach just dropped, and I'm like, oh my God, because I was thinking like he doing this to everybody, and I know like I'm not gonna.
And he did this to somebody.
I don't know. I'm saying when I seen it, it was a girl that's on my Facebook, so I'm like, that made me think like, you know, I'm like a victim too, you know what I'm saying? So I just couldn't believe that he actually let his job, you know, get, you know, messed up, because he was really doing this to people. Like, I know that he doing this, and it's on TV and stuff, like people's taking up for him, like he really not doing this, but he really don't need to be the police no more if he really just doing everybody like this. Like, I know this is what you probably doing to people, and everybody thinking you innocent. And it's not right, because you're a police officer and you really just Like, I feel like I done got played, and like you really got in my head, especially when I was high.
So it said you got arrested again. I'm confused.
Yes, because my bail's bondsman, I guess he wasn't a bail's bondsman no more. And this is after a month, so I'm really like mad because you told me that it wasn't going to be on me after a month.
So you got picked up from the bail bondsman.
I went to court on it, and then they jumped off my bond, so I ended up getting put back in the county because of the trial.
Well, how often have you talked to him?
I didn't talk to him really like that. Like, he had came to my mom's house, and he have it looked like a Chrysler, but it's silver. It's real nice, and it has some rims on it or whatever.
Chrysler, like what?
It looks like a Chrysler, 4-door, like the body.
Chrysler what? What kind of a Chrysler?
Like the Chrysler 300s.
Okay.
It kind of looked like those.
And he came to your mama's for?
Or whatever. He was telling me that he wanted to talk to me about the case or whatever. He was going to tell me, however it was going to be did and dismissed. But when he actually got there, he was really trying to force me to have sex with him.
Did you guys have sex?
No, not then. Because I was watching the kids, and I was thinking, like, this man really want me to have sex with him, and I'm telling him the kids is in the house by himself. So after that, he was kind of freaking me out. So I was like, I really don't even want to talk to you, for one, because you're the police, and I'm really just doing this because you telling me that these charges not gonna stick after a month. So in my text messages, like, he kept texting me when I wasn't replying to call him and stuff, but I didn't because I'm mad because my charges are still here, and you telling me that they was gonna be gone. But let me try to finish finding the whole thing. But I was just thinking that he wasn't right anyway, because he didn't even care that the kids was in the house by themselves, and he kept on trying to tell me, like, bend over, just real quick, just, and I'm just like, no, the kids is in here by themselves.
After that, did you ever see him again?
No, that was the last time.
Did you ever have any more contact with him?
No, after that, I was like, no.
Did you guys, on the text message, you guys ever talk about what happened in the hospital?
No, I don't think. On one of the text messages, he really wasn't trying to talk about it on Facebook. He just was like, on one of the texts, he was like, about the case anyway. He was like, I can't talk on here because I don't know the details or something like that.
Okay. I'll need access into your Facebook, okay? Mm-hmm. For this. I ain't gonna go snooping around, okay? Mm-hmm. So I can pull it up and get that verified to make sense.
Mm-hmm.
Or do you have just an open Facebook anyway? Do you have any restrictions on it?
I don't think so.
You haven't erased anything, right?
Mm-mm.
Okay. I'm gonna sit over here because that chair is about ready to kill me.
Okay. I think I'm close to it.
Okay. So.
Because I was conversating with him because, I want to make sure that my charges get dropped. And plus, like, how the whole situation went, like, I don't even feel like that because it wasn't my truck. And we was just sitting there, me and my cousin, and he just pulled up and swooped up on us. Like.
Okay, talk. I'm going to pull up here after we talk here in a little bit. I'm going to pull up that police report. Your cousin is that's not the one that's downstairs, right?
No.
Okay.
She's in the county jail right now.
Okay. Oh, she is? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, the one that was with you that night?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Her name was Janae Stafford.
As you're doing that, I want to back up, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And kind of go over this. All right. When did this happen as far as this stop?
This happened the day that I got arrested, December 20th, 2013.
Okay. Where were you when that traffic stop happened?
I was in Liberty Station over there on 20.
Off Lindsay?
Yeah, over there.
Okay. Now talk me through your version of the story about what happened. Okay. I'm going to read his version of the story in the police report, but tell me your version about what happened. Is this your first time you ever met him?
Yes.
Okay. You're in what vehicle?
I'm in a, it was a Ford truck. I don't know what year it was, but it was 2-door.
Is it your truck?
No, it wasn't my truck. It was really a smoker man truck that I called my uncle.
It was a 2-door truck. It was a smoker truck. So you traded it for dope or something?
No, it was just a smoke. Like, it was a dude that I knew. He had the truck from whatever. I don't even know the man's name. He was just letting me drive it. But at the time, I wasn't driving it. I was parked, sitting, waiting.
And you were with your cousin?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And your cousin is who?
John A. Stafford.
John, J-O-H?
J-O-N.
Go ahead.
A-Y.
J what?
J-O-N-A-Y-E.
J-L-N?
O.
J-O-N.
A-Y-E. Stafford. S-T-A-F-F-O-R-D.
John A. Stafford.
Mm-hmm.
How old is he? Or is it she?
She is 20.
Okay. And she's in county for what?
She's in jail for it was like a robbery with a forced robbery or something like that.
Okay. So are you in the driver's seat or the passenger seat?
I'm in the driver's seat. She's in the passenger seat.
Okay. Talk me through that traffic stop. Because I want to catch everything that's happened, okay?
Like from the moment that I seen him.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly.
When I see him come in, they go in the middle, and I guess he's the first police car, and then they come back around. So I see him.
How many police cars are involved?
I think at the time when I first seen him, it was like 2.
Okay.
It was his car and a regular, because his car was the all black new one, and it was another white and black car. It was 2 of them. And then,
So there was 2 of the black and whites, and then his new one.
No, it
or
was
1 black.
Right, and 1 older
Okay.
police car. And so when they come back around, you know,
And you parked in the middle.
we parked like when you go in Liberty Station. You know how they is. Okay, we parked on that. It's the gate right there. Like when you first go, just go straight. We parked like close to the end.
By the gate.
Bagged in.
By the front gate, or in the back.
Like it's more to the back of the apartments than the front.
Okay. All right, go ahead.
So and it's like cars before the truck that we in. So they come all the way down. They just stop right at our truck, and so me and her sitting in there, and he smelled a PCP.
This officer.
Yeah.
Do you know his name?
Daniel Holtzclaw.
Okay. And you know his name from what?
I remember when I was high, I couldn't pronounce it, but I kept looking at it, and I'm like, hot. And he just kept moving because he didn't really want me to just speak out his name. Excuse me. I didn't know Daniel was his name until he requested requested me on Facebook.
Okay. So Holtzclaw came over to the truck.
Mm-hmm. He opened my door. Like, they didn't even have no reason to come to the truck. He was just like, this is a known drug area, but we had just got through smoking. I'm sick. But, excuse me. We had just got through smoking the PCP. And so, it was the dude, like when he first, it was the dude that was talking to us at the car, and he had just poured his whole bottle on me when he seen the police coming in the thing.
So there was a guy at the truck talking to you girls. Okay, what happened to him?
He took off running when he seen them go to the middle.
And he poured a drink on himself?
No, he poured the bottle, a liquid bottle of...
a PCP?
Yeah, he poured it on me. That's why I was so hot. Because
why did he pour it on you?
Because he was trying to get rid of it when he seen the bottle.
Was it an accident, or he just trying to...
He was trying to get rid of it. Can I spit in this trash can?
Yes.
But
So he poured it on you and he took off. Who's that guy?
I don't even know his name.
Come on now.
For real.
What's his nickname?
KG, I think.
All right.
For real, I was going over there for somebody actually, so I didn't even know.
And he's a what race?
Black.
How old?
Probably maybe his 20s. I don't know.
Okay. And long hair, short hair?
A fade.
Huh?
A fade.
Okay. How tall?
Probably like 5'4" or something.
Okay. What's he weigh?
Oh my goodness. And you know, I don't know.
Is he thin?
Yeah, he's not big. Well, anyway, that's what he asked me when he came up to the car. He was like, "Where did the guy go?" And I'm like, "What guy?" Because I'm like, "You didn't see nobody over here." So, pose it on me or whatever, and so by the minutes I'm just like getting extra high, whatever. So when he smell it, he tell me to get out the car.
So he poured it on your chest?
On my clothes.
Just on your clothes?
Yeah. But
so he's standing there at the truck and then he just pours it on you?
Yeah, pour it on me.
Okay.
So, and some valves too, he just chucked them in there because he don't know me like that. He probably don't care about me, so he don't care as long as it ain't on him. So, I'm like, trying to get rid of the...
but you're smoking that PCP. I mean, you guys are just sharing. What do you do?
Yeah.
I mean, you dipping a marijuana in there, or what do you...
Cigarettes,
okay.
Newports. So, one of the valves, I was trying to stuff it, but it was one of the valves, they found it in my leg or whatever. And, because I'm like, I don't want to get caught with it neither. And, he pulled up on the car so fast, so, he wasn't nowhere he could go. So, anyway,
Did you have you get out of the car? Or?
He opened my door and had me in. He put me in his police car or whatever.
Okay. And what about your cousin?
They pulled her out too, and she went to another police car. And he was like, "Can I search you?" And I was like, "No," because I knew he was a man. So I said no. He was like, "Well, we're gonna search you anyway." But he waited for the girl police to come.
And this is what Holtzclaw told you?
Yeah. And so they waited for the one. They searched the car while they waited for the other police woman to come. And
so they searched the car. Okay. They searched the car.
Yeah.
And that's when they find the vials.
Mhm.
Okay. And then a female officer came over. Searched you. She find anything on you?
Yeah, she found the vial. She found one of them on me.
Found a vial of PCP. Okay. Then what happened?
When she found it or whatever, she said on the thing, I I crushed it up in my mouth. And so by this time, I'm really high.
You crushed what in your mouth?
The vial.
You crushed a vial in your mouth?
Mm-hmm.
Like a glass vial?
Uh-huh.
Whoa.
I guess I was already high, so I don't know why I did it.
Did they tell you did that, or did you know you did that?
Huh?
Did you know that you...
Did I know what I was doing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so you put a vial in your mouth, and you're chomping down on it. In the police car?
No. But they got me like...
Oh, well, they're like talking to you?
They got me in handcuffs, and then I went like this, and then I did it.
Where was it sitting?
On the back of the police car. Because they had me next to the police car like this. And then I just went down like that, and then
Wow. That vial. Where did that vial come from? The truck?
my leg, because I was trying
Oh,
to get
the
rid
one
of
that the
it.
police officer, the female, found.
Yeah.
Okay.
But the other ones was in the truck somewhere. I don't know.
She put it on the trunk,
Yeah.
and then you bit it.
Mm-hmm. Is
Did
this
they
going to
see
affect
you?
my case, though?
No. I'm just trying to understand. I'm not here for the case. Okay. You know, you came in here to talk about this.
Right.
I just got to cover everything.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. I don't
it's
care
like
about that.
TV stuff, I know. But
Okay. I know I'm asking a lot of questions about it. You gotta admit, that's a little crazy to go down there and bite that.
yeah.
Okay.
And they actually thought I had swallowed it, but I really just cracked it.
Okay, did they see you lean over and
Mm-mm.
bite it off the trunk? How big of a vial is it?
It's just like, it's probably like that tall, that big, and then it's just like,
So like an inch by like a little tiny one.
yeah.
Okay. So inch by quarter inch. Okay. All right. So then what happens after all that?
After that, they was like, she has to go to the hospital because they saying that I swallowed it. They thought I swallowed it. Like,
What'd you do?
Okay, because when I beat it, I heard them spit it out, so they didn't know where I spit it out at. They didn't see it, so they thinking I'm swallowed it. So they got me pinned down on the ground, like spit it out, and I'm like, it's already gone. It's already gone. So they called the ambulance, and they like, I have to go to the hospital.
So they did call an ambulance?
Yeah, they called they called the ambulance, and I guess he followed us to Southwest Medical. But shouldn't they have took me to OU?
No, Southwest usually is pretty good about getting prisoners in and out. I know you said that before, but I just letting you tell the story.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's...
Because I was thinking, like, maybe he probably do this all the time. I was thinking that already. But anyway, they take me, and when I get to the hospital, they take all my clothes off because the PCP.
Did the ambulance take you, or did he take you?
The police, the ambulance took me because they had to put those things on my chest and make sure my heart rate don't just, I guess he said they was putting it on me.
So you went to Southwest?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So I didn't ever see Holtzclaw again until
So the staff checked you out?
they got me out and they put me in a shower that was outside or something, and that's when I seen him. Like he was standing there while they took all my clothes off me and took me a shower.
Well, okay, but he stood there, and I'm going to talk with everybody you're talking about. Because he stood there while they washed you. Was you completely naked?
Yes. They got the shower and wet my whole hair, my whole body.
Where'd your cousin go?
I kept on wondering. At the time, I didn't know where she went. I didn't know if she went to jail or what they do, but
But you found out since then she go to
yeah,
jail.
she didn't go to jail. I went to jail because of the vow.
Okay. So completely naked, washed. They gave you a gown. Where's your clothes?
They took them off me.
Okay. And they bagged them up or something?
Yeah, they said that it was no good, so they was gonna throw them away from me. That's what they told me.
Okay.
They was gonna keep it.
Okay. So you're in a gown, no underwear, no bra, no nothing.
Yeah. After they took all my clothes off, that's what they gave me. They gave me the gown.
So then they hook you up to a monitor?
No, they had me hooked up to the monitor inside the ambulance.
But you go into the ER?
Yeah.
Okay.
They after they gave me the gown, after they took my shower, gave me the gown, they put me on a stretcher. They took me into a small room. Just at this time, it was doctors coming in, but this ain't the room. They ended up taking me to the other room where me and him was by ourselves the whole time.
Okay. So they check you out, I assume, in the ER. Was you handcuffed or anything?
To the bed.
Okay.
My right arm.
Okay. And then they take you where?
After I leave the shower, put me in the bed, they took me to the room to where he was.
Same floor? You remember an elevator?
I don't think no elevator.
Okay, so same floor?
Yeah.
Okay, so then they switched you after they checked you out.
After I sat there and I was drinking the drink a little bit, he was doing paperwork, and that's when they came and told me, is it okay if they throw my clothes away? I said, yeah, whatever. And then they took me out of that room and took me into another place, and this room was more like it was dark room, and it had the sink and stuff, and then a bed, and then a chair, like a recovery room or something. And when you go out the room, it's a desk where the nurses be, and I never seen not one nurse came in there to talk to me or nothing. Like,
so you had been there probably for a few hours.
I was there for a long time.
Okay. Okay, so it was just you two in there at that point. Okay. Was you hooked up to monitors, anything like that?
Yes.
Okay.
I was hooked up to whatever they checked my heart rate with. I don't know if the things were still on my chest or however they was figuring out if it was on my hand. I don't know. But I remember me having a handcuff on this side, and
so you did have a handcuff?
And
on the right side?
And yeah, and he just kept telling me, don't raise up because
Okay, now this is where, how long had you been in there before he started doing something?
I really can't even remember like how long, because like I said, I was high, so really the timing, it seemed like hours that I was in the hospital, because I think it was like 1, 2 in the morning when I even made it to the county.
Okay, so let's
and I know when I got arrested, it was kind of like about 9 or 10ish or something.
Okay.
So I was in the hospital for a few hours.
Okay. So 9 or 10 was the arrest. County about 1 or 2.
I'm thinking.
I know it's bad. Not like you had a watch there or anything.
Right.
Okay, and I'll figure that out too. Okay, going back to this, you said that Holtzclaw had. What was the first thing that he did? Walk me through what happened in that room.
We get in a room. He's sitting there. He's doing paperwork, I guess, and I'm just laying on the bed for the longest or whatever, and I'm thinking the first thing that I asked, excuse me, was could I use the bathroom or whatever, because of the drink that I was drinking, I need to go use the bathroom, and so he unhooked me, and that's when my thing was down or whatever.
Your gown?
And my gown is down or whatever.
Is that when your breasts are showing?
So I'm like, I'm up or whatever, and I'm just stumbling or whatever, and he laughing at me, and I'm like, what is you laughing about? And so I guess I don't know if I fixed it or if he fixed it at this time, so it's up or whatever. And he walking me to the restroom. I go in the restroom and I come out, and he brought me back to the room. And
did he watch you in the restroom, or
no, he because the restaurant that he took me to, it was people out there. So
so it was outside.
Yeah, it was outside of the room.
Okay, and then you came back.
I came back and he hooked me back up.
He hooked you back up.
And I don't know. Like, all I know is that he came on to me because when that showed me that he kept coming on to me when he did that. But I don't know, like.
Go through that step by step. Okay. I was having you go through it kind of as so you remember.
He kept on just saying, like, he kept on telling me that my titties are showing, but I'm thinking to myself, like, if I'm not worried about it, and you know, and I know that I'm high, like, why do you keep on saying my titties are showing?
Is that his word is titties?
I can't remember if he was saying titties or breast. I really can't remember the exact word, but I know he was talking about my titties. So.
Okay. So he kept saying that. Would you look down and they were out?
Yeah. Because, you know, you got to put on the gown like the arms, like you putting it on backwards or something.
Right. I don't know how it dropped down.
Like, because you got to snap like the shoulders.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess it wasn't snapped or something. But it's a big gown, so it was just hanging, like probably like drooping like that.
Okay.
Because they wasn't just out like up under her, you know.
Like let me ask you this: your like nipples or your areolas, were they showing?
No, okay. Just like probably close to it. I'm thinking. I really don't even know because I wasn't even paying attention to my titties. He was. So I'm just like, I'm just out of there, like, you know, I'm high. So,
okay, so he keeps saying, talks about it. Do you fix it?
Yeah. The first time, yeah, I fix it and pull it up, and then I guess it do it again, and then it kept doing it after that, and he kept making a point to tell me, and I'm like saying to myself right then, like, is he keep on trying to tell me about my titties? Like, why is he focused on that? And
do you ever ask him, or what do you say? Or you're just?
I'm just like, you know, I know what's going on, but I'm just like, you know, so I'm not really just asking him no questions, because shit, you the police, you know. I'm not talking to you like that or whatever. Then he got to trying to get in, I feel like, trying to tell me, you know, trying to talk like he my friend, you know.
So he hasn't touched you at this point?
No.
Okay. He's trying to talk to you and say what?
He's like, you seem like a sweet girl. Why are you in this environment? Where are your baby daddies? And how many kids you have? And why do you surround yourself around these type of guys? Because both of them is in jail, I told him. And then he asked me, is that really me? And I told him, yeah, that's me. And then when he made me feel comfortable enough, whatever he was saying to me, I told him, like, okay, my ID that you have, that's really me.
Oh, I'll go looking at the ID.
Yeah, because he had my ID, but I had told him that, I was my sister, Shardayreon, but he had my ID that said my real name. So, I just was like, okay, that's me. He was like, telling me like you gonna lie to me, and I've been honest with you this whole time, and like, because he was like, if you're gonna sell drugs or whatever you're gonna do, why don't you do it in the area where the police isn't looking and all of this stuff. So I'm like, okay, you know, feeling like he telling me the game or scooping me on some news or something, you know what I'm saying. So I was like, okay, that's me, the ID that you have, that's me. And so he like, okay, well, why you not being honest with me and I'm being honest with you or something like that. And he like, do you not know about, he got the name of the different areas in the neighborhood where the police is be the most. And he was saying like the hood, and I was like, no, because I was telling them I was lying. I was just like, I'm a schoolgirl, I don't know about this, and you know what I'm saying. And he was just like, you know, you don't know about Sooner Haven, you don't know about Prince Hall, you don't know about the hood. And I was just like, no, I go to school, I don't know about none of that stuff. And so that was just one of the conversations. And then finally he was just like, he said something about my breast again, and that's when he came on this side of me.
What side? I'm sorry, I was
right side.
Okay, and that's where you're handcuffed too.
Mm-hmm. He came to the right side, and then he pulled it up. He pulled it up like this, and he just grabbed it and he squeezed on my breast like that, and let go.
Okay, so he grabs your gown?
Yeah.
And then he...
As if he wanted to just cover it up, but he just...
Was it one hand or both hands?
He did it with one hand.
Okay, was it like the forearm was across your breast?
Yeah.
Or just
like
the
that.
hand?
He did it like that. He grabbed it and then he went like this and he just...
So he grabbed your left breast?
Yeah.
Is that... Okay. Let me catch up to you right there, okay?
Mm-hmm.
So he grabs the gown, but he's kind of groping your left breast.
Mm-hmm.
Is that what?
Mm-hmm. It's like, it was like this.
But how's he lift the gown if he's groping you?
He just because it's like, it's not like a shirt or nothing where it have to be on. He just grabbed it and cuffed it like that and just...
Oh, so, okay, so he does cuff it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I was like, it just felt warm and stuff, and I'm like, he just really cuffed my wrist like that.
How long did he do that?
He just did it to where he cuffed it and let go and went back over there to his seat.
Okay. Where was the seat?
The seat was like that, and the bed was right here, so like I'm the bed.
So
he directly in front of the bed like this, and I'm in the bed laying back.
is there a blanket on you?
No, it was just the gown that I had.
Okay. And his chair's at the end?
Mm-hmm. He's on the desk is the sink. Like it's the sink, and then it's some area space right here where he got his paperwork.
Is it the circular? Is it like a chair, like a stool, or is it like a chair?
It wasn't a chair. I'm pretty sure it was probably a stool in the hospital.
Okay.
So he just sitting there and he doing his paperwork, and he just keep looking at me. He just keep looking, and then finally he got up again. And when he got up again, he came and he just grabbed my hand and...
Okay, so he keeps looking at you.
Yeah.
Looking at what? What's he?
He's trying to peek, like, because I'm like this on the bed. Like, my legs is like this. So, I'm going like this, and when I noticed, this is how I really figured that when he did that, that's what he was doing, was coming on to me. But when I seen him looking, I knew that he was trying to be sexual.
So he's looking where?
He's looking between my legs.
Okay.
Because he's like this. He's like, he keep going, rocking back and forth, trying to like look. Because out of there. I'm like asleep on the bed.
So you're like nodding on and off?
Yeah. So when I finally turn over and I see him, he trying to like, he looked, but then he turned his head like he really not looking. So.
Okay, all right, so he's looking between your legs.
Yeah.
Okay, then what's the next thing?
So then I kind of closed him because I'm feeling uncomfortable. So then he got, no, we was talking again, and he was telling me like, you know, this can all go away in like a month if you just cooperate. And I'm like, what do you mean cooperate? And then so that's when he come again and he touched on my breast again. And then while he's standing up.
Hang on 1 second, I'm sorry. Okay, this can all go away if you just cooperate?
Yeah.
And you say...
I don't know if those was his exact words, but I know he says, basically he's telling me that if you just, you know, go with the flow or whatever, you know, that it'll go away. And
so
I know
you said, what do you mean? Is that what?
Yeah.
Okay, and what did he say?
He was just like, give it a month and these charges will go away. So basically he was putting it to where like, you know, I'm telling you like, you know, these charges can go away, you know, in a month if you know, and I'm like, what do you mean? And when he come back up on me, he touched my titties.
How did he do that this time?
He just grabbed him and was squeezing him like that.
This time was your breast showing, or was he just groping them now?
No, he didn't. I think my gown was still on. I don't really remember exactly if it was on or off. I just know he was touching me. And
but was he on the right side of you?
No, actually he was on this side of me where the tree was.
Okay, and what breast did he touch?
Shit, I don't remember. I know when he was on this side, he touched this one. So he touched, I don't know, he could have touched the right one or the left one. I don't really exactly remember that part or whatever. And
but you're sure that he touched your breast?
Yes. And then,
do you know which hand he used or anything?
No.
Okay, that's okay.
But so
he
I'm thinking
he squeezes it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So at the time I'm just like,
is the gown on when he squeezes it?
It could have been and it might have not, but I mean no, I don't really think it was off. This, you know, I don't really think it was off when he did that,
but he squeezed your breast.
And so I'm thinking, well, shit, if he doing this, he need to not take me to jail.
Okay.
He need to let me go. That's what I'm thinking. So I'm like, okay. So I'm just going with the flow because he telling me if you know, if it do it, then give it a month and it'll be away. So I'm like, okay. So I'm just like, well, can I go use the bathroom again?
Right as he's squeezing you?
No, like
he squeezed you.
He's probably standing there or whatever. He probably just standing there, and I'm just like, I need to use the bathroom again.
Do you say on this time on the squeeze? Are you saying anything? Is he saying anything?
I'm really feeling weird. I'm just letting him do it.
Okay.
So, I'm kind of like don't know what to do. So I'm like, I need to go to the bathroom just to be just doing something else. So he hooked me again, and he takes me to the restroom, and I come back in after I use the restroom or whatever. And by this time, I'm asking him to call my mama.
So he hooks you back up?
Huh?
When you go to the restroom, come back?
No. Cause he pulled down his pants before I go to the, no, before or after, no, when after he touched on my breast or whatever. Yeah, I asked him to go to the restroom. I come back in, and then I don't know how we talked about it or whatever, but I know that his belt or whatever, like when he told me to touch it or put my hand on it, okay. It was like I felt a little bump.
So you're back from the restroom.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. In the conversation you said,
I really don't remember how we was talking to make him. I know he said something about, I will fuck the shit out of you. And he said he would nut in me.
Is that his words?
Yes.
He said, I would fuck the shit out of you?
Yes. And he was like...
He said he would nut in you?
Yes.
And that's his words?
Yes. I promise to God, I hope God kill me right now if I'm lying. He told me that he would fuck the shit out of me and he would nut in me or something like that. But he was saying, he was trying to tell me like that's what he would do. I guess to see if that's what I want to do. But he was trying to say he was on the clock, but then he ended up doing it anyway.
Okay. That's what he says, but he says, I'm on the clock?
Yes.
He says he's on the clock. Okay, what's the next thing that happens? In order. Okay.
He like he on the clock or whatever, and then I don't know if he just ended up taking off his belt because I was touching it for a minute, and then so
okay. That's the part where I want to get to.
Mm-hmm.
He's telling you these things, but there was no touching yet.
Yeah.
Okay. When do we get to the touching?
When he pulled my hand up and put it on.
So the belt is off or it's on?
No, it's on.
Okay.
Because like, however his belt is on, is like you can't just get to.
When you come back, lay on the bed. Mm-hmm. Are you handcuffed again?
I don't even think he handcuffed me that time.
So right now you're not handcuffed. Mm-hmm. Back from the bathroom.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think he just telling me to lay back because if he said if they come in and I'm standing here, it's not going to look good.
Mm-hmm. Well, tell me. Okay. And I know I'm kind of, I'm just trying to, I know,
and it's kind of hard for me too because that was almost a year ago, so I'm trying to really just...
I'm just trying to make it flow, you know, I'm just, okay, so he says he's on the clock, and then you said that's where you start touching. Is he, you keep acting like he's on your left side. Is he on the left side? Okay, where's the door?
The door is right here.
Straight in front?
Okay, look, when I'm the door.
You're the door?
I'm the door. Over here is where the cabinets and the desk is, and the bed is right here.
So the bed is directly in front of you.
Okay, well, here go the door.
There you go.
Here go the door when you walk in, but this door should be like right there, close on this side, because right here is the cabinets and the sink and stuff right here. This is the chair, whatever he was sitting on, and the bed is right there, and then it's another chair on that side of the bed.
Okay, but he's on your left side. Okay, How do we get to the touching?
He just was bent down, squeezing my titties.
Okay, so he squeezes it again.
And so he just...
So that's the very first touch back from the bathroom. Is he squeezing you after the whole clock stuff and nothing in you? After he says about nutting, after he says about not being on the clock, or I'm on the clock, the very first touch between you two is him on you on your breast. Is that right? Okay. Which breast did he touch?
I can't remember. I just know he was touching on me.
Okay, so he touched you. This will be the third time, correct?
This will be the first time, the second, and the third time.
Okay. All right. So this is the third time he squeezes one of your breasts. Okay. And then what happens?
After he squeezed my breast, he pulled my hand up and touched on his...
Your left hand?
Yeah.
How does he grab your hand? Does he grab the hand or the wrist?
The wrist, like, and grab my wrist and just put it on there. And so I'm just feeling on it or whatever, and I'm just like, oh my God. I'm just like, oh my God, like this. Like,
okay, is he hard?
I feel a knot, but it was kind of tight. His pants was kind of tight, and it was just like, you know.
You couldn't tell?
I felt the bump like it was his private.
I know. But I'm saying, was he erect? Was he hard?
I don't know.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure if it was kind of like this, like his pants was tight, so he couldn't just like stand up, but it was hard enough to feel the bump.
Is he moving your hand, or is he just take your hand, place it on it, and then what? What do you do, or what does he do?
I think he was just. I just was like this, and I don't know if he was just. I can't remember. Like, I don't think he had my hand rubbing it or whatever, because I was just. I think he was doing something with his belt, because however his pants is on, it's not like regular pants. You know what I mean? So he
So he let go.
His belt.
He let. Okay, so as you have a hold of him or touching him.
Well, just like that.
Okay. Does he let go of your hand?
I think he was grabbing onto his belt, like raising it up or however, because it was weird, I guess, however his belt is hooked onto him.
So then he grabs his belt, lifts it up?
Yeah. Or he take it off.
So he takes it off. Is your
eventually.
hand... Okay, but when your hand is on his privates, your hand's on his penis, right? Mm-hmm. Okay. Is he taking it off at that same time?
I believe so.
Where does he set it down?
On the chair.
Okay. At what point does he tell you about people coming in or anything?
He was saying that the whole time. He was just telling me, he was making sure he tell me to just lay back, you know how the beds kind of tilt a little bit on your back, so he just making sure I don't make too much movement, because if it go too high, then I guess that's when they gonna come in the room to check on me. But he knew to make sure that my heart rate don't keep going up or whatever, because...
And that's what he's talking about with you?
Yeah, because he trying to make sure, I guess, don't nobody come in on him. But at the same time, I really don't know what... I just know these was some of the conversations that was in. I really can't just put them exactly in the order or whatever. But I know he was telling me some of the things.
Throughout, just stay back. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Just stay back. And he was like, it's not going to look good if, they come in and he's over here like this. So... when he take his belt off or whatever and kind of pull his pants down, I'm like this.
He pulls his pants down?
Pull them down like just a little bit.
So does he undo the top button, or does he whip it out through the
I don't even know.
zipper?
I never seen the button or none of that, because I wasn't really trying to do it, and I wasn't paying attention to how his clothes was made or none of that. I just know that was down a little bit.
Okay. But your hand was still on there. Or did you take it off?
I took it off while he was doing that or whatever.
Oh, while he was taking it. Okay.
Yeah.
So then next thing you know, his penis is out.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Do you know if it's over the top? If he's unzipped his pants, it's through? You know how you have the button and the zipper?
Yeah, like I don't even know how that's made, because it's not made like regular pants, I don't think. I don't remember how it looked.
You just knew his penis is out?
Yes.
Is it hard?
Yes.
Okay, so it's erect, okay. And you don't know if it's through the zipper or over the pants?
I was thinking it was...
But the pants are lowered?
Yeah. So... all I know is I'm back on the thing like this, and I got it in my mouth, but I couldn't do it.
How did we get to that? Okay, so he takes it out. Does he have a conversation about you putting your mouth on it, or how does he?
He was like, just, I can't even remember what he was telling me. I know he grabbed my head, and I think he was saying like, just do it or something. And he was just telling me stories like he'd had oral sex, but he never came just by oral sex or something like that.
He says what?
He said he's had oral sex, but he hasn't nutted or came. I don't know which one he said by it.
But that's what he said.
Yeah.
So he said had oral sex but haven't came or nutted. And then does he ask you to do it, or how does he get?
He was just basically forcing me to do it. Like, is you gonna do it? Or I can't remember the exact words he was, but what he was telling me is like how he was acting in was how he was acting when he came to the house. Like, pressure me to do it. Like,
okay, but do you remember anything that is said about how?
Come on, just do it. Because I was just like, I didn't want to do it. Come on.
What are you saying?
I'm like, is you sure my charge is gonna be off of me in a month? And he was like, yeah, just trust me. And just do it. Can you do it? Or something like that. I don't know the exact words, but I know it was just something pressuring me to like do it. Like, how you just keep asking somebody to do it, or you know. So
then he does what?
He just grabbed my head.
Grab the back of your head. What hand?
Oh my God! You gotta think too. Like, I was high, so I really don't know how he did it.
And that's why I'm okay. I'm on your left side. Okay, left and right.
He might have did it with his right hand.
So
and
right.
So like he's pulling me to him while I'm up, and I put my mouth on it, and then like he's standing there, and this is what like really stopped me from doing it, because he was like, ha ha, you never sucked a white dick before. And I was just thinking, I was like, I sure have it. And then I just stopped. Like, he just made me feel weird after he said that.
Okay. So he says, ha, never sucked a white dick before?
Yeah.
Right after you put your mouth on him?
Yeah.
So, and then you said what? Or you stopped?
Yeah, and when he said that, I was like, I sure have it. And I just came up off of it, and I was like, I sure have it. And then I was just like, I just was like, did it. I just stopped.
Okay, then what happened?
He hurried up and put back on his belt, and I was just like, can you call my mama?
Okay, hang on.
He put on his belt, and he sat down in the chair, and I was just like, can you please just call my mama? Can you please? And I just kept on asking him, like, where's my cousin? Did she go to jail?
Okay. Okay, what did he... Was he saying anything as he's putting back on his belt or anything like that?
No, I just was like, can you call my mama? He wasn't saying to me, I was talking to him. I was just like, can you just call my mama?
Okay.
And so he was like, he can't do it. First he said he couldn't do it because that'd get him in trouble and stuff. So he was saying little shit like...
Can't do what?
He can't call her, but he ended up doing it. Like he was saying that he would fuck me, but he's on the clock, but he still ended up doing it. So this was like another thing like that. He was just saying like he couldn't do it, but then he ended up doing it anyway.
How long was your mouth on his penis?
I probably went up and down probably like 6 times, maybe 7.
Okay, so 6 or 7 times. So was it less than a minute?
It was probably about a minute.
For oral sex?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, so then what happens next? Does he say anything about the cousin, about the mom? He said no.
When I asked him, I'm like, can you just call my mama, please? Can you call my mama? And he was like, I can't. He was like, because he'll get in trouble or something. And then, so, whatever he said after that, he ended up calling her for me. I gave him the number, and she answered the phone. And I was like, Mama, I was like, you mad? She was like, well, I'm not happy. And then I was like, well, I'll be out. She was like, you ain't even gonna have no bond. And then he ended up telling her, because he had on speakerphone. So he's like this, sitting in a chair. And so he was like, she'll have a bond.
Okay. Hang on. So he did call.
He did call her.
Your phone or his phone?
He called from his phone. He had a little black phone, looked like a black case was on it. And he called her.
Okay. So he called her.
Mm-hmm.
Your mama. And what's your mama's name?
Latonya James.
Spell that, please.
Latonya. She was gonna come with me, but she took a nap.
James is the last name?
Mm-hmm.
What's the phone number?
405-4.
Okay. So he called your mama talking about what, the bond or jail, or what's he saying?
I was like, I'm gonna get out. And then she was like, you're not gonna have no bond, because she thinking I got caught with a whole lot of drugs or whatever. So he like, yeah, she will have a bond. And so I was like, I'm gonna get out of here. She was like, how? I was like, cause my friend, he gonna let me go. And then she was like, who is your friend? I was like, my friend name is Mr. Officer. And then she just started laughing at me, because she was like, you was high. And I was just like, no, I'm not, Mama, no, I'm not, and stuff like that. And then I can't remember how the conversation ended, but I know.
But nothing is said in reference to what happened, right?
No.
Okay. Then what's the next thing that happened?
After that, he hung up. He hung up the phone, put it wherever he put it, and he came around and he stuck his fingers in my private.
Right after the phone call?
Yeah, he came around. He put it up, and he came around to the thing, and he went like this up under my thing, and he just stuck his fingers in there. And when he did that, I was like, because I didn't know he was about to do it.
Okay. So he's on. You're fine. He's on the left or right side of you?
He left the left side of me and came to the front of the bed.
To the front? Does he have to lean on the bed, or what's he do?
He kind of bent down. He kind of bent down on the bed, and he went like this, and it was his right hand.
How many fingers?
I really don't even remember how many fingers.
So he goes up between your
legs. Might have been 2.
And he puts his fingers.
And
I know what you mean, but you got to understand why I got to have you say it. He
puts his finger in my coochie, private, okay. Pussy, whatever you want me to say.
Okay.
And he put it in there, and I was like, and then he took his hand out. He went over there to the sink, and he washed his hands.
Okay, so you didn't say anything. You just gasped because you didn't know he was going to do that?
Yeah.
And what's he say?
And I don't remember what he said. I can't remember what the conversation was. I think I got to ask him, like, so now am I still gonna go to jail? And he was telling me, like, he was telling me that he had to take me to jail because he ran my name or something like that. And I was trying to tell him, but you didn't tell him my name. You told him my twin name, so you can let me go. But he was like, he couldn't do it because it was ran through the thing or something about it. So he had to take me to jail.
Spell your sister's name.
SHARMARY. and her last name is Hilton.
Okay. So then he tells you you're gonna go to jail.
Mm-hmm.
What's next?
I was just like, I don't want to go to jail. I don't want to go to jail. He was like, well, just give it about a month. Just trust me. Just trust me. Just give it about a month. And, he'll dismiss him, or he'll make sure that it don't stick or something.
Okay. Then what? Or what happened?
All I know is I went to the. I don't know if I went to the bathroom again after that or not, but nothing else ever happened after that. As far as him touching me, it was just, I don't know if I sat there some more hours or an hour. I don't know, but I know it was time to go finally, and he got me up, and they gave me some blue scrub like clothes.
Okay.
I can't even remember where I put them on at. Anyway, I don't know if I went to the bathroom to put them on or if I stayed in the room. I can't remember, but I know they gave me some scrub blue clothes to put on when I went to the county.
So you went to the county.
Mm-hmm.
And tell me about there at the county. Anything on the ride?
We was just talking. I was just telling him, I never trusted a cop. I never trusted a cop. I was like, so it's going to be gone after a month?
And what's he saying?
And he was telling me, like, yeah, just trust me. The same thing he'd been telling me. He was just like, just trust me.
So you went to the county.
Mm-hmm.
Then what?
And we got in there. I stood at the thing, whatever. And they let us in. And when I got in there, they took all my stuff. And by the time they did what they did when you first come in, take all your stuff and check you or whatever, they took me around to the middle part, like the middle part of the county. We sitting at them benches right there, because it's the benches. It's that little area right there where when you get booked out.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we sitting at them benches right there where they cuff you at. We sitting right there, and he was like, I didn't charge you for your ticket or whatever. And I'm like, okay. He was like, I hid your tickets for you. I was like, okay, thank you. And then so he took me in them other doors where the hotel is, right there where you sit at the desk, and the nurses ask you the question, take your blood pressure or whatever. He walked me in them doors, and then I'm sitting down at the thing, and she asked me all the questions and stuff, and she like, asking me all the questions. Have I had suicidal thoughts or whatever, and have I been sexually harassed or, whatever.
Assaulted.
Yeah, in the last 24 hours, and he was looking. And so I'm like, no. And so when I say no, he closed his book up, and he walked out. He came out that door right there, and then he was like, see you. And he walked out them slide doors, went back to his car.
How long was you in jail?
I was in jail for 5 days because I had a ticket with the OU police or whatever. So no.
Did you have tickets with OCPD?
With
Oklahoma City?
Yeah.
And they weren't on there?
No, I got out. What held me in there, because I had already bonded out that day that I got in there, but they was saying that I had a hole, and my mama and them was, because I'm telling my mama on the phone, I'm like, Mama, them tickets should not be showing. And she was like, well, you got a hole? So and I guess when you do call the city, they is going to say that I got them. I'm like,
And
but
you're saying it was a different city.
I'm just telling her because I know what he told me. He told me that the tickets I was gonna get out because he hid them. I'm like, Mama, them shouldn't even be showing up. I'm like, why am I still in here? And she like, because you got tickets, but it really wasn't that. It was, I think I had went in front. What was the judge's name? I can't remember the judge. But the reason why they was holding me was because of my court fees and all of that for my probation and stuff. And I had to go. It was on Christmas Day. It was on Christmas.
And you had to do what?
I had to set up arrangement to start paying my court fees and stuff. So after I had did that, because I didn't even know that's why they was holding me. So when they came and they took me to court for it, I'm thinking I'm still about to be sitting in here for these tickets. And I'm thinking he done lied or whatever. So next thing I know, they come and tell me bunk and junk. So I'm like, oh, well, he must have did hide them for me. So I leave. And that was I went on December 20th and I got out on Christmas Day.
Okay. So they were hid or not? I'm just confused there. They were hid, but it was just the court. They were hid.
They were. It was just that I had to hold for not paying my
What tickets you think you had that were hid?
I have, it was like $4,000 worth of tickets, for, they doubled, because I wasn't going to court. So that's how they kind of got
traffic tickets or what?
It was traffic tickets. It was, assault and battery. Mainly traffic tickets, but it was municipal.
Okay. So then, what's the next thing that happens involving Holtzclaw?
The what?
What's the next thing that happens involving Holtzclaw?
2 weeks later, 2 weeks later, I seen a friend request on Facebook.
You seen what?
Friend request from him on Facebook.
And it said Daniel Holtzclaw?
Mm-hmm.
So you accept?
Mm-hmm. And then, because he told me he was going to find me and he was going to help me. So I'm like, okay. So I was like, it took you long enough.
That whole conversation is there.
Is there? Yeah. I'm about to put it up for you. I'm about to put it up. I didn't erase nothing. They all on heard from what I said and what all he said.
Is it a very long conversation, or what is
it? It was just conversations throughout the days, and even the last one was him telling me that I had a warrant because I guess he was checking up on me because I was on probation.
So he pulled you up?
Huh?
Did he pull you up?
Yeah, I guess because he knew that I had a warrant. Because in my inbox he was telling me that I had a warrant, but I hadn't been talking to him or nothing because I had went to.
So he gave you a heads up about the warrant, or what he saying?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So he talked to you throughout the day.
Mm-hmm. Cause see, I had went to prison in Houston for a few months, and he had when I got out.
Oh. All right. I'm 2 weeks after you got out.
Mm-hmm.
And he contacts you on Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
And So we're talking about in January, right? After the first of the year?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and what's that conversation about?
I was telling him, like, it took you long enough to get with me, because now I'm thinking, like, he said he gonna help me, so why he, I don't know how I'm gonna find him. I need him to get these charges out of me. That's what I'm thinking. So finally, when I got the request, I said, it took you long enough to find me or whatever, and he was asking me, was I really Shardayreon or was I really me? And I told him that I'm really me and Shardayreon really is my twin. But I'm almost there. I'm like, if I can put it.
What's your Facebook account? What's it? What is it?
Like what my name is?
Yeah, what? Yeah.
Shardayreon. At the time it wasn't this name, but right now it's Shardayreon. No Love Hooks.
Whoa. Okay. Shardayreon, spelling your way.
Mm-hmm.
No Love.
Mm-hmm.
Hooks.
Mm-hmm.
What's the Hooks?
Hooks is just my baby daddy last name.
Okay. Shardayreon, No Love Hooks.
Mm-hmm.
Is there okay. So to have access to look for it, is there a password or anything like that? Okay, so I can go in there right now and look at it, right?
Yeah, you should.
Okay, and his name is going to be Daniel Holtzclaw, right?
Well, he had deactivated his page. Like the ones like that that say Facebook user, most of them,
But it should have your conversation, right?
yeah, we got a conversation. I'm almost there because I got out July 3rd and I had a message from him. I on this case, okay, when I had the warrant for the case that he arrested me on, I went to jail in Houston because I was on probation. I went to jail.
You got out, then you go back to jail?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, look. He gets with me on Facebook when I get the request. That's in January. I go to court a month later, which is in February, and I go to jail because of the bail sponsor. He got kicked off or whatever, so he had to jump on my bond. So when I went to court, they locked me back up and I had to rebond out. So at this time, I tell him I went to jail, and I didn't understand that because you told me give it a month.
So this is a second conversation?
Yeah.
And it's when? February?
Yeah. This is in February.
Has anything ever talked about sexually?
No, he knew not to say nothing sexually in the context.
What?
I mean, in the Facebook messages. But there's times where
But he found you.
Yeah.
He found you 2 weeks after you got arrested.
Mm-hmm.
And then he tells you got a warrant?
No. I'm telling you that he tells me I have a warrant when I went to prison in Houston. I went to jail the second time on that charge. Then the day before I had to go to court on this case, I went to jail, so that made me have a warrant.
So far I've got 2 weeks after he contacts you.
Mm-hmm.
Then you're out, then a month goes by, and the bondsman thing, you get picked back up, gotta rebond back out.
Mm-hmm.
Then you're out, and he contacts you again.
No. I tell him that I told him I went to jail. And then he was like, what are you talking about? Call me, maybe I can help you or explain. And I was like, what do you mean? Because he had been telling me that already. So by this time I'm mad. Like, what do you mean? You can explain to me because my charge is still here.
Okay, but
Okay,
you
here
haven't,
we go right here.
you haven't left for Houston.
Huh?
You have not left for Houston.
I'm okay. March 19th is when I go to jail in Houston.
Okay. So you went talked to in January, a month later, the rebond thing, you're out.
Here they go all right here, and here go the dates on here too. So. Okay, I said, damn, took you long enough.
I see it. It says,
He deactivated his phone thing, so
so no picture.
That should be the same number. Like if y'all was to get my mama's phone records or his phone records.
February 28th. Okay, so we're talking about January 8th. Facebook. And February 28th, back in jail. So he pulled you up again. Okay. March 2nd. He says here, hey, I'm going to pick you up. Where are you at?
He just came out the blue.
Okay. Did you, if you guys had any kind of relationship, I need to know.
I promise to God, I swear to God on my life, I hope
Okay.
I die right now if I'm lying. I didn't have no,
Like,
besides that one time that he came to my mama's house and he was rude, that's the only time I seen him after that I got out of jail.
like I told you, as long as you're telling the truth, no matter what, okay?
Mhm.
I gotta ask this because he just kind of jumped up in there.
Mm-hmm. And I swear to God, I didn't see him after he came to my house. I never had contact.
When did you
with
go?
him.
And you went to prison? So he sent that while you were in prison.
Yeah,
He didn't know you were in Houston.
no.
That April was the last time.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, don't. Yeah, I might. If I have any problems, I need to go on there because I want to print that all off. Okay. Okay. Do I have to have a friend request or do that? Or can I just hop on there and look at your conversation?
What, you need my password?
Unless you want to go in there right now. We can do it.
We can do it.
Okay. Okay. So he does all that. When does he come over? You said you're in Houston for how long?
I was only in Houston. I got locked up. Well, first I was in Fort Worth, and I went to prison in Houston though. So when I got locked up, March 19th to see my PO.
You got picked up in Fort Worth?
No, I went to see my PO in Fort Worth. And he seen I caught that charge in December, so he locked me up, and I had been locked up from March 19th, and I got released from prison July 3rd.
Okay. Then what happens? When does he come see you?
That he never ever since that one day.
Oh,
2 weeks after, like probably after I accept the friend request or whatever. It was somewhere in that time. It was sometime in January is when he came to the house. And that was the only time that I
Did he
seen
get a
him.
hold of you on Facebook, or how did he get a hold of you to know where you live and stuff like that?
He already had my address because of when he arrested me, he already knew what he had planned.
Okay, so sometime in January,
hmm
does he just show up, or how does he do that?
He asked me, can he come talk to me about my case and stuff. He was gonna tell me how.
So you talked to him a couple times.
Like on the cell phone, yeah.
Okay. What's your phone number?
This cell phone wasn't the number.
The phone number you had then.
Right. I done had so many, so I'm trying to think of what the number was. I think it may have been.
Because I got to pull up cell phone records, is
Right.
basically.
I think it was 439.
You sure?
I'm not sure, but I'm gonna just give you all the numbers that I done had since then. I'm thinking that was
How many have you had?
I've had a whole lot of numbers, cause I either lose phones or
39. Okay.
Or let me look at it.
What's your company? Have you had the same cell phone company throughout?
I know.
Is it always in your name?
Yeah, it should be. What was my number back in December? I need to. Okay, look. The number that
Let me look at this. Maybe. I got a 206 7. That.
it could have been it.
Huh?
It could have been it.
Could have been. Okay, that's okay. But he comes to ask to talk to you within 2 weeks of that Facebook.
Okay, I got it on Christmas. This was like maybe in the teens of January, like 13, 14, 15, 16. Somewhere in that time, I'm believing, is when he requested to be my friend. Like, I believe it was like 2 weeks into January, and I accepted it. And then sometime shortly after that is when he came to the house.
After the first request.
And he kept on asking me, like, is you sure you don't have anything on you?
So he asked if you could come.
Huh?
He asked if he could come see you.
Yeah, to talk about the case.
Okay, so tell me about
Because he
that.
never wanted to talk about it on the phone or in Facebook.
So he shows up and he's driving a what?
I don't know what kind of car exactly it is, but I know it put you in the mind of the Chrysler 300. I just know it was silver with chrome rims on it. And it was real nice on the inside.
Okay. So did you meet him outside or what'd you do?
Yeah.
Did you take a ride with him?
No, we sat in the driveway that nobody lives at the house. We just sat in the driveway because the kids was in the house.
And where was this address he met you at?
That address, it's the house next door, but you might as well say he came to the house because it was just the driveway part next to the house.
Okay. And you were babysitting.
My little brothers and sisters and my son.
How old's your kids?
He's 2. And my little brothers and sisters, they're 8, 7. My mama got 10 kids, so it's a whole lot.
Wow.
2 sets of twins.
But you have how many kids or so?
I have 4, but only my 2-year-old lives with me.
How old are you?
I'm 22, about to be 23.
4 kids. Wow, that's quite a handful.
Mm-hmm.
I got 4 kids, so I know what that's like.
Mm-hmm.
So your youngest is 2?
Yeah.
And your oldest is how old?
He's 7.
Oh, wow, there you are.
Mm-hmm.
You're a busy little bee. Yeah, but you keep your hands full.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So they're sitting there, and he says, You go over, you sit in the car with him.
Mm-hmm.
What's the conversation like? But what time of day you think?
It was at nighttime. He had told me that he was just now leaving the outlet mall, so it was probably after 9 or something.
Okay. Okay. And it's around the middle of January.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And what's the conversation like?
He was trying to make sure I wasn't trying to set him up or anything. He was kind of like nervous because I had my phone and stuff, and he wanted to know why I was on my phone, not trying to record or, stuff like that. And I think I told him, I said something like, "You thought I swallowed that valve?" He was like, "You did." And so I was like, "No, I didn't," or something like that. So then I don't know how we got on a sexual conversation, but he brought it up. And
what's he say?
Huh?
What does he ask?
He was saying like, he was telling me like let's have sex. I don't know exactly what his words was, but he was basically pressuring me. Like, he was like, "Can I just pull around the corner and you just bend over and then I'm gonna fuck you really quick," or something like that. I don't know, but I was telling him, I was like, "And you don't even have no condoms," like. And he was like, "What, you don't trust me?" He was like,
Did you ask if he had a condom?
Yeah, I asked him because he just really wanted to do it without one.
But you asked if he had a condom?
Yeah.
What did he say?
And he was like, "No." He was like, "You don't trust me." So I'm thinking to myself, he was fucking nasty.
Okay, then what? So he's asking to go around the corner.
And he was just like, "Just bend over in the seat." And I was like, "No." I was like, "Maybe next some other time." I was like, I can't because the kids are in the house by themselves right now. And he just kept on asking me and just really getting on my nerves after he kept on asking so many times. And I just was like, "No." And
So he kept asking for sex.
Mm-hmm.
And you kept
and
saying
then he
no.
asked me, "Can I give him oral sex?" And I was like,
what did he say? What was his words for oral sex?
He was like, I can't even remember exactly how it went, but I know he pulled it out again.
Oh, he did?
Yeah, he had on some sweatpants, like some thick gray sweatpants.
So he took his penis out?
Mhm.
Okay, like over the top?
Mhm. He just pulled him down.
Was he hard?
Yes.
Okay. And then what did he ask or what?
He was like, come on. And I was like, no. I was like, the kids is in the house, and I think this is a police officer, and he don't even care about these kids. And I'm like, I'm really like neglected because they in this house by themselves, and I'm out here talking to you. I'm like, I can't do it. But eventually, I was, telling him like I got to go back in here. And I'll talk to you later. So after that...
So did he put it up? Did you ever touch it? Or did he ever take your hand? Or did anything happen?
No.
He just took it out?
No.
Okay. So he took it out?
And I was just looking.
How long did he have it out?
He had it out for a long time because he was really trying to...
Like how many minutes?
I don't know, maybe like 3 at the most, probably.
Okay.
Because he seen that he was just, he didn't make me do nothing this time. He was just like, I kept calling in the house and stuff, trying to.
Why he's got his penis out?
I don't know, probably not at that point in time, but I'm just saying, I kept calling in the house trying
So
to
you kept telling him, gotta go in, and finally you just told him, I gotta go?
Mm-hmm.
Anything else happened during that time?
Mm-mm.
Okay. Did he just put it up, or did you guys ever hug or kiss or anything like that?
Mm-mm.
You just left?
Mm-hmm.
What did he say was the last thing he said?
I don't remember.
So you guys never touched?
Mm-mm.
Okay. Did the conversation in the car, did you ever talk about he's still trying to help you get those charges off, or what's he saying?
He really didn't want to too much talk about that. I don't know. Maybe we had like a slight conversation about it, because I believe he was still telling me. Oh, he was telling me something like, basically telling me. It was in so many words. He was saying that they would call him or something like that. He said if they don't try to do anything, they gonna call him, and then he's not gonna go talk to him, or however that works when if they call the police officers or whatever, however that goes.
Was that before or after he showed you the penis and tried to get you?
I can't remember. It might have been before.
Do you feel like he was, on this time, do you feel like he was using the whole charges to try to get you to have sex again?
Mm-hmm. Well, my whole thing is, I kind of figured he was doing that more than it was just me. That's why I was like, why would I have sex with you without a rubber? And that kind of made it seem like he don't only do this with just me. And then it shocked me and it scared me when I seen it on my phone. His picture said that he was charged with rape and everything, and that kind of like.
Do you know any other girls?
No, I don't know any other girls that he could have did that to, but it just, my thing is, when I see it on TV and stuff, it makes me mad because I feel like he used me and then kind of got in my head in a way at the hospital and stuff, and he doing all of this stuff to these people.
Did you think he had a relationship? Or
Huh?
do you think he was just thought maybe there was something
I'm
there?
saying he got in my head, far as he put that in my head, like that if I messed with him, he was going to get them charges off of me. So I'm thinking this whole time,
But if
like,
you messed with him sexually?
Yes. Like, I don't want to do this. I wouldn't do it if I willingly at all. But I'm pretty sure anybody would do anything for their freedom if he's telling them that they, these charges is going to be dismissed in a month, and just trust him and stuff. And he's talking to me all nice, making me think he my friend, and that, I'm going to be okay. And so.
And that's the last time you saw him?
Yeah, that was the last time.
So you guys never touched on that time?
No.
Did you ask to see his penis?
No, I'm not even. I wasn't interested in nothing sexual, because I really have to be sexually attracted to you to want to even do anything sexually with you. So, no, I didn't even care.
Were you just playing along because of the charges?
Yes. But like I was just trying to make excuses. Like when he was saying call me, I was just saying my phone is dead, I'm gonna call you in a minute. But I never called him after that. Like I probably.
Oh, you told him I'd call you?
Huh?
You told him?
No, I didn't tell him I'd call him. I'm just saying right here where he said, hey, call me, and gave me the number. I said my phone is charging, call you in a minute. But no, I went to see. I don't know what I was saying out there, but
So after that, when's the last time you talked to him? Just on this Facebook thing?
probably.
Did you ever talk to him on the phone again?
I think I was texting him one time, and he was telling me to come to his house, and I was like, no. I was telling him I don't want to come.
You texted him?
He texted me.
Okay, so he had
one of them. Yeah, he had my phone number.
So you guys texted each other,
Mm-hmm.
and you don't have that phone?
No, it's probably one of them numbers.
Okay, so what lines of communication? You've talked on the phone, right?
It was more texts than anything, no.
But you did talk some. You texted.
Like he would text like, "What you doing?"
And you had that 580 number? Okay, and then Facebook, anything else?
No. I only seen him when he arrested me, and that one time when he came to my house, that was the only times that I've seen him.
Okay, so when he left, did you ever talk on the phone again? How many times did you talk on the phone?
It wasn't that many. I just thought that there was more texts than anything.
But like, talk 1, 2, 3?
No more than probably 3 times.
Did you ever talk on the phone after he came to your house?
He was texting me after that. Like I never contacted him. He always contacted me.
He always contacted you. Did he ever talk? Is there any documentation from any of this that he was talking sexually to you?
No, and he knew probably not to do that.
Okay.
Talk sexually, because on her, I'm trying to get him to say, like, I asked him, like, what do you mean? I said, help, how? I don't get it, because he's been telling me this whole time. I'm trying to get him to tell me, what do you mean you're going to help me?
And that's on Facebook?
Yeah.
But you don't have any text with him now?
No. He said, last thing you said, you went back and let me know about it, and maybe I can help or explain what's going on. They gave me his number again, so I'm like, help, how? I don't get it.
Right. When's the last time you talked to him? Because you went to Houston, got out July 3rd.
Yeah, so
you went to prison, right?
Okay. Well, if you can see, like, on these, most of the times that he was writing me, because by this point when I'm saying help, how, that's the only time I really just text back. Like, this gap right here.
Since you got out of prison, have you talked to him?
No.
Do you talk to him in prison?
No.
You talked to him in jail?
No. The last time probably was when I said that, actually. When I said, my phone is charging, call you in a minute.
And what day was that?
No, not that one. This one right here. Help, how? I don't get it.
What day was that?
That was March. Okay, let me put it up. That was March 4th, 2014 at 5:34.
Okay.
Because this little gap right here, like that time and this time, and see, he kept texting me and stuff, trying to get me to call him and stuff, but he just.
Okay.
And so then finally when he said he was gonna help, yeah, I was like, help me how? I don't get it, because by this time I'm mad. I'm like, you've been telling me this whole time that you're gonna help me and it's gonna be off, but you ain't.
Hey, you want a break or anything? We're really about ready to wrap it up. You use your restroom right now?
No, I'm good.
Okay, I need to use the restroom. Okay. And then
can I walk out there where my cousin is to make sure she's all right?
If she's all right, sure, I guess.
She might want another cigarette or something.
But I go outside or
no, just out to the where he picked me up from.
Well, you can't walk around. That's the only thing.
I'll just wait.
All right. On to the computer. Okay. I think I've got it. And I just kind of want to, I'm going to run through it. What I usually do is I just kind of run through it real quick. Make sure I've got it. Okay. Stop at Liberty Station. You're using PCP with your cousin. Did your cousin, your cousin didn't see anything, really? Inappropriate? Anything inappropriate there? So nothing inappropriate at the
On the scene.
at the scene. Okay. That's okay. And basically, we kind of go through everything there. You're chewing on the vial. You're spitting it out. They have you lay on the ground. They tell you to get rid of it, but you're not. And so they call the ambulance. The ambulance takes you. You get washed. He watches that. You're naked. You eventually, after going through the ER, go to a totally different room, and you're in there alone. He comes up to you, and I've got which side of the bed, so I'm just running through this. He comes up to you, and he keeps talking about your breasts are out or your titties are out, one of the two. And at some point, he comes up, grabs on one side, lifts up, squeezes. He comes again, squeezes again after he's kind of hitting up about working with him. Then he comes up again. I know there's back and forth with bathroom. Squeeze a third time, but then this time he is having your hand come up. You touch, he takes off the gum belt, take off your hand, and then he's talking about just do it, just do it, just do it, and all of clear through there. He's talking about the charges, and he takes the back of your head, about 5 or 6 up and downs, about a minute. He says, "Ha ha." It's about a white dick. I've got it written down.
It's the first time you ever sucked a white dick.
Okay. And then you stop, and then he buttons up everything, puts you on the phone with your mom at one point. After that, he comes right back around, and he slips up 2 fingers up inside your vagina. And then he takes you to jail. He's standing over you when they ask you the question about have you ever been sexually assaulted. He walks away. A couple weeks goes by. Facebooks you, starts talking. Of course, you go to jail about a month later. Then you're out from bond, talking to him again. I'm sorry. Before you even go to jail, he comes over.
Right.
He whips out his penis. He tries to get you to go down on him, go drive around the corner, have sex with him. You're like, no, 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 no. He briefly talks about the charges. And you don't do anything, no touching. And then the bond, jail, out. Still some contact. And then Houston, then he tries to get a hold of you and let you know you got a warrant, but you're in Houston. Okay, and we've got the Facebook messages, everything like that.
Right.
Anything you tell me today, has it been any lies, anything like that?
No.
Okay. Well, you've been pretty honest about stuff. So, you got any questions of me?
I don't know. Is that like, was the other girl situation, was they like mine?
Well, I can't necessarily go into that. Okay. Have you ever talked to anybody about their situations?
No, I don't know nobody else that he done that to or none of that.
Okay.
So this is good evidence?
Well, you tell me.
I think so, because I mean, y'all, even if he didn't like even rape nobody or nothing, he's been in contact with people that he arrested.
Well,